In the past decade, we have seen much hate between people in the world. We have seen it through acts of violence, an increasing amount of racism, and most of all, hate speech and vandalism. It is important to acknowledge this sharp rise in vandalism that has been going on in Marion, because the more people that do it and spread this hate, it will not only have a negative effect on the community, but it'll also lead to it happening more often. I'm well informed about this topic because I've read the news articles that follow the accidents that have been proceeding in Marion, and I've also seen the hateful messages that taint the walls of downtown Marion with my own two eyes. The city of Marion has had a large increase in vandalism lately, and it needs to end before it gets worse. By increasing the amount of security cams in the area and also making spray paint harder to access, this should easily decrease the amount of vandalism that has been going on. To begin, the problem, as I stated before, is the increase of vandalism shown through hate speech and vandalism in Marion. According to Iowa News Now staff, there's been 18 reports of racist and vulgar graffiti in the Marion neighborhood. A lot of the graffiti included white supremacist symbols, such as swastikas and the letters KKK. And Emily Anderson from the Gazette stated, Jacob Will Cox Thomas entered a garage in the 1100 block of 10th Street and stole spray paint cans. And they used those cans to vandalize several cars, properties, City of Marion properties, causing more than $10,000 in damage, according to a criminal complaint. It's these kind of things that go on in Marion that make people want to live somewhere else. If this continues, it will make the people of Marion fearful, and that is why this is important, that this is resolved before it gets out of hand. This right here shows one of the hateful messages at a local park in Marion. It says, "Kill yourself," if you can read that. There are many ways that I have thought of that should be effective as a solution for this vandalism. The main one is, to help deal with this, is more cameras in the Marion area. And also restricted access to spray paint. The main aspect of this solution is the increase of the security cameras. It is important that plenty of security cameras are placed in and around downtown Marion, because that is where most of the reports of vandalism has been occurring. The second part is restricted access to spray paint by requiring parental acquaintance for teens to purchase spray paint. Traffic Wrap says that graffiti is one of the hardest things to remove from solid surfaces. It also stated that in areas with more security cameras, there are much less incidents of vandalism. With those two tasks completed, it will result in reduced vandalism and also reduced in other crimes that have been occurring. This shows video cam recording of these kids that got caught for spray painting. So with that surveillance cam, they were able to get caught, these kids. So there are many ways that this solution will be adequate for the problem. It will reduce vandalism, and it will also make the cleanup easier if it still continues. Since vandalism is on the rise, more surveillance and reduced access to spray paint will halt that rise, because it is added barriers that the criminals will have to cross in order to continue their acts. But at the end of the day, people don't want to go to jail, so with more cameras, it will be a large help. The benefits of this solution is people won't want to vandalize because they're much more likely to get caught. And also, since spray paint will not be easier to get a hold of, it'll be easier to clean. And this will work because people do not want to go to jail. They don't want jail time. And that's exactly what they'll get. And this slide shows spray paint, and once it dries, once this all dries, it becomes very, very difficult to get rid of. You have to do a lot of scraping. And that's why it's being restricted. To conclude, in order to stop the growing vandalism, more cameras and restricted access to spray paint will be invoked in order to scare and make vandalism a lot more difficult to do. According to LAPD Online, it is important to acknowledge crimes like this before they get worse. So if you care about your community, make sure you take the steps to get rid of these scum. Always remember that there's a lot of hate in the world, and you can either do something about it, or you can just watch from the sidelines. Thank you.